Hello and welcome to the CUPRA Simracing Cup on RaceRoom Racing Experience. We hit the midway point of the championship tonight for the sprint round as it returns in all its glory. Two 25-minute races ahead of us at this legendary motorsport venue. It is, of course, Hockenheim, a tricky test for the drivers involving high-speed sections, big braking zones, and plenty of opportunity for some side-by-side action. Lewis McGlade alongside Robert Wiesenmüller for today's action. And Rob, a strong victory last time out for Dorneden surely puts him in a really strong position for the championship.
Hello everyone, hello Lewis. Yes indeed, very strong performance from Alexander Dorneden last time out at Spa. Just taking a short look at the calendar here. So we can see Hockenheimring third race of the season. In Spa we had a 60-minute race. This time we have got two 25-minute sprint races. The top 10 reversed for the second one. And we already had that at the Nürburgring, and there Alexander Dorneden was not victorious. Actually it was David Notch who won the second race and Ben Spunky who won the opener. So a different challenge for Dorneden this time out.
Yeah, three of the biggest names in racing competition have been victorious in the first three races of this championship. Who's going to be the fourth to mark up their name, or is someone going to take a second victory of the season? We look over some of those incredible corners that we've got here at the Hockenheimring. Some perfect racing action for sure, and that's one thing that this championship has definitely delivered in the first two rounds. Mr. Spa coming out on top at Spa, and then some excellent racing in the sprint round of the first round of the championship back at the Nürburgring. And one thing that these races are proving is how good some of these drivers are in combat.
Yes, indeed, and we've seen a lot of combat here. Actually, let's take a look at the schedule, what we have got coming up today. 15 minutes of qualifying, of course, first, where the drivers will determine their grid position, their starting position. And the starting position is important, but not quite as important as in other series here, because we've seen a lot of passing, and maybe we can take a look at the action from Spa-Francorchamps, because Lewis has prepared a little highlight video for us.
Highlights from the second round of the CUPRA Simracing Series for the Spa endurance race. It was a good start from Kuba Brzezinski from the pole position as he tried to cover off Alexander Dorneden from going around the outside. Keithley managed to get up to third. Leitner and Pinches nearly went side by side at Eau Rouge, but backed out and dropped back in line. One person that didn't avoid contact was Raikul, who had this spin, was nearly collected by the rest of the field. Baldi makes contact with Banki, sending him into Haase. All drivers continue, with Baldi losing out to Ulrich. End of lap 1, and Dorneden made an attempt for the lead, which he did take. 3 wide up at Les Combes, but the Williams driver of Lerner gets by Brzezinski, and then Keithley gets by, and then Honzik gets by at Pouon, first to fifth in 1 lap. Dorneden made this mistake at Les Combes, which cost him the lead to Lerner. Torsten Ulrich behind made the same mistake, dropping him from 7th to 10th. It wasn't long before Dorneden made another move to retake the lead. Lerner wasn't fancying that though, as he instantly got back down the inside and retook it. Brave and late on the brakes was Dorneden, who retakes the lead at Les Combes. Keithley at the bus stop chicane was also super late on the brakes as he comes around the outside of Lerner and Dorneden. Contact with Dorneden on the exit allows Lerner back up into second, so it was a Williams 1-2. Honzik pushed Dorneden past both the Williams cars, allowing him back up into the lead at Les Combes. Then Keithley bravely with the slipstream goes past at the super fast Blanchimont. With the pit stop windows open, Baldi and Noj enter the pit lane first. Lerner got out of the battle pack by pitting next. Honzik was racing hard with Keithley. As he drops out, he receives a hit from Brzezinski, pushing him into the barrier. He goes back to 7th. Most of the lead contingent enter the pit lane. From their early stops though, Lerner and Baldi jumped the pack into a theoretical race lead. Keithley made contact with Dorneden at La Source, costing them both time. Lerner felt his pace was better, so he made a move on Baldi to take the lead. Dorneden eventually caught, but then Keithley made a huge lunge on the brakes and made contact with Baldi, allowing Dorneden and Keithley through. Then at Les Combes, Brzezinski would get by. Keithley made a rare mistake, dropping him back a few positions. Then Kuba did as well, and Gergo was back on the podium. Dorneden took the lead at La Source with 2 laps to go. And behind, Keithley passed Baldi for third. Into the final chicane, Lerner would try and go around the outside of Dorneden, but it just wouldn't work. He had to work for it, but Dorneden takes the first 60-minute race win of the season from Lerner and Keithley. That result shoots Dorneden to the top of the standings by 66 points out of David Noj and Ben Spanky. Moritz Lerner and Jack Keithley are 9th and 10th after their first rounds. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you at Hockenheim for the sprint round.
Thanks a lot, Lewis. And yes, only 4 minutes away from qualifying right now. We saw, of course, that Alexander Dornin is leading the championship by 66 points. But we've got a couple of new drivers, once again here in the third round of the CUPRA Simracing Series. In the top server, of course we're running 4 servers at the same time. We had over 2,000 people once again trying to qualify for this race. So, yes, this one is the top server, of course, and let's take a little look at the entry list here.
Yeah, we've got some big names on there for sure. Some new joiners. We've got Alexander Vermont, someone who a lot of people will know from previous experience in RaceRoom competition. Of course, taken over parts of the WTCR Championship, done stuff over there. Samosi in 18th on there. We've got Mayakero in 20th and Puglisi in 24th. There's a few new names to see on there for some of these drivers. But the top lot still kind of remain in the Florian Haas, Alexander Dornin, Jack Keithley, Banky, Honzik, Noj, that kind of area. So seeing if any of these drivers could sort of make that jump and really take part, like we've seen from Torsten Ulrich down in 23rd position and Bo Dixon recently joining VPGaming.de, joining that contingent. So some good stuff coming for sure.
Yeah, we had a couple of team changes. VP Gaming.de, that's an interesting team because they're very experienced on project cars, won the World Championship there. And now they're entering the RaceRoom competitions as well, and they signed experienced RaceRoom drivers. With Bo Dixon, well, he has got 1 race of experience, but still. And Balint Benedek, of course, who was the finalist in the GT Masters last year. So 2 drivers for VP Gaming in the field. AAA Esports with Romain, you on the grid, and also Absolute Motorsport, the Italian team, signed Slaven Stulic.
Yeah. No surprise that Bo Dixon got picked up based on his race pace last time out. Same with Torsten Ulrich and a lot. Like these new drivers joining the championship are really showing what is possible. We look at Bo Dixon now as such impressive form last time out, pace-wise, to keep up with some of these boys at the top end. And came into this in the pre-qualifier in a very healthy position indeed. Of course, we'll be heading into qualifying in a moment where we'll see what he can do around Hockenheim. Of course, a very, very different circuit than Spa.
Yes, but still also quite a fast circuit, and that seems to be the theme of the season here. At least in the middle of the season. Nürburgring certainly the slowest track. It's not really a slow track. Then Spa high speed, Hockenheim also kind of high speed, and then next time out Monza, which is extremely high speed, and at Macau you've got 50-50. Very tight street course area, and then of course the back straights, under ring corner. That would be really exciting as well. And I spoke with Alexander Dornin for this event, and he's hoping that he's got the championship wrapped up already at Macau because it's not his favorite track. These 2 that are coming up now, they are 2 of his favorites. He's currently leading the practice session as well, ahead of Florian Hasse and ahead of this man here, Gergo Baldi, who hasn't won a race this season yet, but he's dominating the WTCR Championship on RaceRoom, and he's also shown a lot of potential at Spa.
Yeah, he's Mr. Consistency. I mean, Gergo Baldi was, to put it into context, I don't know if it was caught too well by those watching the highlights package there earlier. Bear in mind that he kind of started quite low in there. He started about 8th or 9th and only came into the picture through a very good pit stop strategy and very, very good racing. Nearly finished on the podium, 1 position behind Jack Keithley, but even on more worn tyres was still fighting with that lot and really used all of his sim racing experience to move his way up the order and showing why he is a championship contender. But obviously to win a championship at this kind of level, you've got to beat people like Alexander Dornin and Jack Keithley, people that know how to win titles. Florian Haase, of course, included in that. Interesting driving there from Christian Neuhaus there.
I'm not sure if that's the fastest way around the track.
Might be the hairpin.
Yeah, just trying out how fast the reverse gear goes. Just before qualifying session. I mean, it's possible that he ends up in this position at some point in the race, especially in the midfield. The fights are pretty hard, so you need to know all of your options. Anyway, qualifying session is on now.
And who's going to set the fastest time? Once again, 15 minutes ahead of us. And once that 15-minute clock hits 0, we'll move into the first race. Everyone flying out of the pit lane like a swarm of bees trying to find that clean air. I think you spoke about this when we were in Germany earlier in the year and probably the year before as well. Is why does everyone charge out of the pit lane all at the same time? Obviously, you want that clean air, surely. It's just like,
but if you're first, it's good. Seconds. But it's 15 minutes. You can wait a little bit. Of course, Hockenheim's got the infamous first corner where you can easily get the track limits. But still, 15 minutes, you should be able to get at least like 3 timed laps in without getting track limits. And these drivers, they're just not, they just don't like waiting. I mean, they are racing drivers, they always want to be first. Look at them in the background. Yeah. And actually, for Dorniden, great position, but for Bunky behind him as well, he's got a slipstream of Dorniden, and Dorniden was the fastest in practice, so why not? You know, not a bad position. 2 drivers without teammates in this championship as well. And I expect them to work a little bit together, actually. It's also seen with Honzik and Dorniden that they are helping each other a little bit against the flood of Williams cars.
Yeah, we saw that Spa. Honzik giving Dorniden a little bit of a push. We look at his stats and achievements. WTCC esports champion back in 2017. Of course, most importantly, had to wrap that one up at Macau. Did it before the final race, though. That is important to note, because he did it in the second to last race. Actually crashed out of the final one, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and this year he crashed again at Macau, so it's certainly not his favorite track. That's for sure. Let's go on board with Dorniden here for the hot lap, the qualifying session.
Yeah, the run to the first corner, the Nord curve. Very, very tricky. You say about track limits. You've really got to wrestle it over the curb, boff it on the inside, run out wide nicely, but not too far out wide, because that's where you pick up the what will be a slowdown of the race or a cancel of the lap in qualifying. Then the heavy brakings over turn 2. You've really got to hold this tight to the right-hand side for the best run. He understeers out quite wide, but it seems to work quite nicely for him. Keep it flat all the way through turn 3, turn 4, and then the Parabolica. All the way around, we're going to see most of the overtaking here down into turn 6, the hairpin. You're going to see people trying it around the inside. You're going to see a couple try it on the outside, which may work early in the race, but as the grip lowers, probably not so much. We're going to clip that apex nicely. Very nice work, Mr. Dorniden. There's a reason why you won at Spa and why you're a good race driver. Out of the hairpin, get that power down nice and smooth, and then line yourself up for the really fast turn 7 into my favourite braking zone of the circuit, because it's always a little bit all over the place, into the Mercedes Stadium section. Then hook the curbs as we exit the second sector. Be careful on the throttle leaving turn 10, because you'll run far too wide with the understeer, and then into the proper arena section. Oh, look at that oversteer on the entry. Fantastic car control. Maybe a little bit too wide, though. That's going to cost him time clipping up the gravel. And then we head into the Sachs curve. Again, oversteering on the entry to the corner. Really trying to get that rear end out, get the speed all the way through the corner. But that means the front tyres are going to be scrambling for grip all the way through the corner. Once again, second to last corner. My least favourite on this track. It's such a nightmare to get right through the final one, onto the exit curve and to the line. Its first time it goes onto the board. But immediately beat by Benz Banky, though.
And immediately beat by Moritz Löhner. Not a clean lap from Dorniden, actually. Couple of mistakes. Löhner provisionally the fastest, but we already see Florian Hasse on purple sectors. Both in the first and in the second sector. The Euronics Gaming driver fastest in pre-qualifying here. How with the number 1, what can he do?
Yeah, I was going to say he topped that pre-qualifier. He's at Hockenheim, home circuit, to the line, P1, 45.665. That's a nice time, a solid 10th ahead of Moritz Löhner and Jack Keithley. We'll look back to, oh sorry, no, never mind, my computer, never mind. On board with Florian Hasse, we look at Benz Banky. In P5 currently. David Noj jumps up into 4th position, of course. We remember that pole position back in Spa, where he set a very impressive time on the last lap of the session, with Benz Banky at the moment setting a purple first sector roll.
Yeah, what can the driver from Slovakia do? Hungarian roots in the stadium section here. It's very clean, as usual.
It's to be expected from him, isn't it? There we go, still purple.
Good roll now. Can also get sideways here. He stays on the track.
It's interesting to see this this massive amount of oversteer. Curious to see how that's going to affect them in the race, because that's going to be tricky for these guys to control through the race, lap after lap, because it's just really throws you off a little bit to every corner, because you're constantly having to scramble for grip before actually getting fully on the power. He's going to run to the line though. Is this going to be a pole time? It certainly is. By 19 hundredths of a second, Ben Spanky goes on to pole position.
I think we can see some Williams cars slipstreaming here. Lining up for a potential slipstream. That is Lerner, and behind him, that should be Brzezinski. Then, I don't think that's the Williams car. Which one is it? I think it's Baldi here. Yes, he's just trying to use the slipstream here.
Well, why not? Be smart about it. Around a circuit like this, the slipstream could definitely gain you a few tenths of a second for sure. So if that's the case, and you see a couple of teammates trying to use it, you might as well help yourself. Going through the first sector, Jack Keithley is ever so slightly up. As well, not up on himself, just by a few hundredths of a second. We'll see if he can make that one stick. Still looking at Goga Baldi, who's also up on himself. Looking for the back of Kuba Brzezinski, pole position at Spa. Maybe a little bit out of nowhere for Kuba, but didn't finish on the podium, ended up in 5th position at the end of that race. Maybe not the result he was hoping for after a dream start to the Spa race. Ended up losing 5 positions in 1 lap, which is not ideal. Misses the apex completely there into the stadium.
It's one of these corners where it sometimes also works when you go a little bit wider. Famous with the second corner, different lines here. Runs right up to the wall. There was a car on the inside, looked like Honzik, letting both of them through. Not a good lap from Brzezinski so far, but he's pulling Baldi here to a very good time.
Constant. Currently up is Goga Baldi, the Hungarian. He started around the 9th, 10th position last time out, made it work, got up to 4th. This time he might have to pull something a little bit more out of the bag. Comes to the line. And he's going to
Oh, Lerner goes pole.
To 4th. Oh yeah, Moritz Lerner, 45.
What a final sector from him. It was not purple at any point earlier. And he jumps on the provisional pole position. Once again, strong showing for Moritz Lerner here in the CUPRA Simracing Series.
Only by 0.003 of a second as well. Very, very close margins up here at the top end of the field. We look back to Florian Haase, currently in that 3rd position. Had pole taken away from him by Ben Spanky. Not happy about that one. I'm sure we'll do all he can to get back on top. There's plenty of time left in this session. 7 minutes complete to go. To the line goes Florian Haase for Euronics Gaming. No improvement. Stays 3rd. Now Jaroslav Honzik's done the same thing for the first 2. He escaped from that lap. He's done the same thing though for the first 2, well, first races, I guess. It was the first race at the Nürburgring, and then the race at Spa, where he kind of gets to 4th decent time by Pinchos, up to 12th. He sort of sits in 4th or 5th, and then basically just sits on the train until he kind of wants to get involved with the action, does Jaroslav Honzik. But then when he gets involved, he can get involved, that's for sure. He's a very good race driver, is Honzik.
Yes, but P9 at the moment, don't think he will be happy with that. Also Dorneden only in P8. It's to do some improvements, but we don't see any purple or green sectors from Alexander. Bit different for Alexandre Vromont, the Frenchman. Green in both sectors, up to P12.
Decent time, his first time in the CUPRA Simracing Series. Doing a fairly decent job. A driver who I think you can describe as having a robust race style. More than happy to get his elbows out and put on a good show. Certainly one who can move up the order if he's qualified in 12th at the end of it. But naturally, we're expecting this order to top and change quite a bit throughout the session.
Talking of drivers with a robust racing style, we've got Slaven Stulic, of course, in P10. And I finally found out who we're missing. We're missing Chris Shepard, who's not on the server at the moment.
Oh, that makes sense why you would have missed that and only picked up on Stulic. Yeah, that makes sense.
Big rival of Slaven Stulic, of course, in this championship. Let's check with our debutants. We saw Vromont already. Majacero, the driver from Finland, very good in 14th. Then Alexander Somosi in 16th, ahead of Thorsten Ulrich.
I was about to bring up Ulrich. I mean, he's made some good progress on both of the first laps. All three of the first laps, really, because even in race 2 at Nürburgring made a good start and got up into lead, led most of the race, and had it taken over by David Noj in the final bit of the race. We look at Kuba Brzezinski, but Thorsten Ulrich's one who can really make it work on the first lap, but you kind of liked him to see him a bit further up than 17th. That's a bit low for him at the moment. Look at how wide Brzezinski is heading into the arena section. Bence Banki massively up in the first sector. It's quite hard to actually get up in the first sector because it's such a tiny run. You've got turn 1, fair enough, you can gain quite a bit of time there. Then you've got turn 2, and then from that point on, it's flat out to the split. So realistically, you can. It's quite hard to actually find time in it because you've only got 2 points you can.
Oh, that's true indeed. Second sector a little bit more important here on this track, but then the second sector has a lot of flat out areas as well. Let's see that Banki should be coming across the line pretty soon. There we go, still purple.
Of course, not on pole by 3 thousandths of a second. Got removed from the pole position by David Noj in the first qualifying session of the CUPRA Simracing Series, in the dying moments, trying to move his way back up onto that. Won the first race.
Not sure if he got the nose into the corner here correctly. Let's see when he crosses the line. Not running out as wide as we saw before from other drivers. But it still works. Still pole position for Bence Banki, the SDL Esports driver.
6:08, nice time. Clears off by 400ths of a second nearly. We look back at Florian Haase, who's currently in that third position. Just coming through the final couple of corners now, getting that final run. Nicely out and over onto the Astro. Absolutely pinned to the line. Pole! Wow. Good final sector by 6 thousandths of a second. Florian Haase heads back to the top of the field. Now what can Moritz Lerner do about that? We look at Dorneden. 8th, Rob. 8th position. What's going on here? A 66-point lead and only an 8th.
I think that's still the time from his first attempt. And we saw that it was not a clean lap.
Of course,
late
there are
on the braking once again.
For the pole. I believe it's 15 points up for pole position. 100 points for a race victory. Of course, it was 200 that this man hoovered up for the race victory at Spa. He'll be heading. This is his final lap, should I say? We've only got 1 minute and 44 seconds remaining, which means this is the only one he could do. He's currently improving, but not good enough to put him anywhere near that pole position. Bit of understeer there, really. Heading into the arena section. The front end just not picking up quite as much, although he has seemed to sort out the rear end issue on that car, Rob.
Yeah, still had a bit of a slide there. It seems to be the quickest way through the corner. Clips the apex here pretty nicely. It's very wide. Understeer again. Still much better lap than before. Should be an improvement. Dornin up to P5.
Yeah. Still under massive threat of being moved further down the order. 10th and a little bit off of the pole time. Moritz Lerner not currently on a time, is that? And then
track limits.
Yeah, it could be track limits at T1. If that is the case, then that's his session done as well, because he won't be able to complete this lap as there's only 50 seconds left to go in the session. Just see if he runs over the line. Does anything? No, of course not. So Moritz Lerner not going to be on pole. It's really between Haase and Banki.
Yes, and Haase and Banki are both in the pits. So none of them can improve. Notch still on a lap, and Brzezinski. Brzezinski at least on green sectors. That should not be pole position. We're just checking with David Notch. Don't get a split time from him.
Far too early in the lap anyway. So it's really only Brzezinski we can keep an eye on, who's just heading to the final corner now. And this is not going to be good enough for pole position, so it will be one for Florian Haase. Again, Bence Banki denied that pole by a tiny, tiny margin. Kuba Brzezinski improves time but not position, stays 8th, just behind teammate Jack Keithley. So the Williams Esports, despite having such a good run last time out, not really having the best go of it at the moment. Moritz Lerner up in 3rd. And then Jack Keithley and Brzezinski further down the order, but a very, very good pole lap from Florian Haase. And the first race of the evening is about to get underway. Of course, 25 minutes, and then we'll have a top 10 reverse grid race. Who is going to win that one? We look at the championship order, and you can see Alexander Dorneden heading the field by 66 points, languishing down the order in 5th. Obviously not that far down the order, don't worry about it. You can race from that position. Important notes on there, the likes of Moritz Lerner, Jack Keithley, further down the order in 9th and 10th. They have only done one round, and there is a drop score on offer. And then with everyone getting ready then for the first race, we'll have to see who's going to come out on top. Again, the pressure building. Rob, any final thoughts?
Will be a tight fight here. I think Ben Spunky, he will try hard to win the race this time. Florian Haase has to watch out.
Are we going to see a 4th different winner of the season, or is someone going to take their second? The lights will be on ahead of them and will be underway shortly for Hockenheim. And here we go. Florian Haase is going to get a good jump from pole position, but I think that's Ben Spanky coming under pressure from Moritz Lerner in the background, and it is indeed Ben Spanky down a position. Look at that start, though, for Florian Haase, absolutely clearing off into the distance already as they're attacking in the background. Second position for Moritz Lerner, coming under massive pressure from Ben Spanky, who dropped up a couple of positions on the start back in Nürburgring, managed to make them back up and take the lead, and then eventually the victory. Not going to happen at the moment, though. Moritz Lerner up in a second for Williams Esports. Gergo Bowdy in 4th position, all over the back of Ben Spanky. Alexander Dorneden not made anything stick from 5th at the moment. Jack Keithley directly behind. We watched them come through the parabolica for the first time into that tricky hairpin. Is anyone going to go side by side? Anyone going to go around the outside? Any massive dive bombs? I think that might be Jaroslav Honzik in the background, just trying to make something stick.
Dorneden!
Oh, massive hit, though. I think Dorneden's up into 3rd somehow. Ben Spanky 2nd. Dorneden, that's that white card, just the second one in line, basically. Going side by side with Gergo Bowdy. Moritz Lerner being muscled out the order. My goodness me, that was aggressive. We head into the stadium section. And, I thought Dorneden was going to clip the back of Banky then. Lerner up into 4th. I think he might hold that. Or maybe not. Gergo Bowdy gets into 4th. So not the best first lap, despite it looking promising at the start for Moritz Lerner, down to 5th now.
Yes, and a massive dive bomb there from Dorneden. I think Lerner won't be too happy with that. He actually had a perfect start, but also perfect start for Florian Haase. Pulled out the necessary gap at the beginning and just kept the lead here.
An excellent translation there, yeah, for Florian Haase, who just managed to clear off. But Ben Spanky looking pretty aggressive to close it. Look at this, Florian Haase trying to break the slipstream. Not the quickest line on the straight, but I don't think it really makes that much of a difference. He's just trying to break that slipstream to stop Banky from catching him quite as much. But at the moment, Banky's really reeling in that gap, using the slipstream to his advantage. Alexander Dorneden, he showed how aggressive he was going to be with that massive, massive lunge at the hairpin. We saw that excellently from the helicopter shot. But Dorneden will be closing Jaroslav Honzik down in 9th position. Bearing in mind he's been around the top 5 quite a lot. We look further down. Samosi making a decent start to his career, but just dropping in behind Balant Benedek.
Doesn't that happen? We always have to be prepared for a dive bomb, so we go to the front of the field. Haase still leads. Oh, and there Dorneden.
Gergo Bowdy gives him a little bit of his own medicine, I think. But Dorneden's going to get the best run off the corner, that outside run. That's why I say think people might try around the outside, because the drive off of it is so much better. We head through the super fast, completely flat out. There's nearly going to be contact as we head into the stadium section. But I think this one's done for Dorneden. He's going to hold on to 3rd. Gergo Bowdy's going to try and go for the cutback, which works on Moritz Lerner. A lap ago. Not this time, though. Alexander Dorneden hangs on.
This is some close stuff here.
Time, though, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. It's like Banky's closing the gap, and Dorneden can't relax at the moment. Well, he's attacking in almost every corner.
This is the thing with a driver like Dorneden. You can't let them get into a rhythm. You need to constantly keep breaking them out of it, because they will either clear off into the distance or just get comfortable enough that they'll just keep hitting their marks. You can't let them get comfortable. But at the moment, getting comfortable, Banky and Haase towards the front, pulling away from this battle. We ride on board with Dorneden looking backwards. You can see into the cockpit of Gergo Bowdy massively out wide. That could be risk of a slowdown.
Yeah, I think that's a slowdown for sure. Probably a small one so far. This was his first offense. Still, he needs to watch out, especially in this corner. Now Lerner is all over the back of Baldi as well, and Lerner is dropping back. Where is Lerner?
Oh no, I think it's just a... Was it just a lag issue? I think it was just a lag issue. Yeah, he disappeared and came back. No worries. Look at this though, up towards the front. Go Bowdy. He's going to try and go for it again. Maybe around the outside this time into the hairpin. We watch them coming down into the braking zone. He's going to have it covered off. Oh, but down the inside there comes Maurice Lerner. That's not going to work, surely. Jack Keithley under attack from his teammates. CUPRA Simracing maybe getting stuck back a bit in the field. That one didn't quite work out for anyone into the hairpin.
Williams' cars slightly pushed each other there. I think it was Keithley who tapped Lerner. So Lerner arrived a bit sideways. In the back row, Notch and Honsick are fighting hard as well.
Yeah, that's the concertina effect in full effect. But look at the top two, absolutely clearing off. Second and a bit clear of Dorniden. These lot, if they want to win this race, they've got to start working together. We saw that from the unlikeliest of compatriots. People helping each other. Maurice Lerner and Gogo Bowdy worked together through the mid part of the race after the pit stops to at least try and hold a gap over the likes of Dorniden and Keithley. Dorniden and Keithley didn't fancy working together, but they still managed to catch that gap anyway. As they head round to complete yet another lap. 5 minutes down, and it's been an exciting 5. Who's going to be catching a breather? And who needs to keep their eyes on the road? We look at Jack Keithley, maybe not a position he's too comfortable with. You've got that fun fact for us, Rob, about Keithley and this circuit. He's done very good things in the past, has had things taken away from him in the past here.
Yes, Hockenheimring, certainly a track of both defeat and victory for Jack Keithley. Also started the big rivalry between him and Tim Heinemann. Heinemann unfortunately not racing with us today. And Keithley will not use the same word, unfortunately, about this one. It's still good to see him here in the battle. And we see the move for the lead of the race. Bunky on the inside of Hasse. And that's a clean pass.
Hasse didn't even fight it.
Oh, but he went for the cutback.
Yeah, here we go up towards her. That's a super tight line, though, that Florian Hasse is going to have to take. And it's going to give him the outside into the arena section. I don't think that's one quite going to work. I think Bence Banky might just have this one. Heading into that stadium section. Oh, my goodness me. Florian Hasse all the way around the outside. It's going to give him the inside for this corner, which will be the inside for the arena section coming up. A little bit of a rub there on the exit of the corner. Bence Banky's got the best drive off, and that's going to be the race lead going to Banky. Drops them back nearly a second towards Dorniden, so he's going to be licking his lips and thinking about what he can take from this. But that was a very, very solid move from Bence Banky. Curious as to why Hasse didn't fight as hard at the hairpin, obviously going for that cutback, but it didn't quite pay off for him.
Great clean racing between these two. Bunky into the lead of the race. I said it before the race, you always have to watch out for Bunky. He's good in these sprint races, they're really suiting his driving style. Because he also, most of the time, manages to stay out of trouble, especially in these hectic races. So Bunky now in the lead of the race, ahead of Hasse and Dorniden.
Saw Willem van Oomen dropping down a few positions of the order, now down in 20th position. Not quite sure what's happened to the Dutchman, of course. The first man to receive the reverse grid pole back in the Nürburgring after a race-long fight with Stulic. And then Shepard got involved towards the end, who's not been able to join us for reasons unknown at the moment. We look back towards this fight at the front. You can actually see that battle for 10th place, which will become important. Torsten Ulrich on the back of Bence Benedek. Well, actually, there's a bit of a second gap between them. But that 10th position, that is the one for the reverse grid, so that one will hot up later in the race.
There's a car very late!
That was... Who was that?
That was Keithley.
Keithley. Oh, it's made massive contact. It's absolutely spread them out. Look at this. It's going to be 3 wide up towards turn 7. We look at, I think that's Dorniden going side by side with Gogo Bowdy. And they're going to be through 7 and into the stadium section. So that mistake from Keithley, which is one that we saw at Spa quite a few times. This time it's working in favour of Bowdy, which didn't work in quite the same way back in Spa. But yeah, far too late on the brakes for Keithley. And it's affected his teammates more than anyone else.
Williams battle pack in the background, and Dorniden won't be happy with that. Lost the position, but I mean, we've seen him do kind of the same thing on the opening lap, so not sure how hard he can complain about it.
Oh, rubbing the back of Bowdy. Just a little bit of Morse code. Oh, that's wide for... Oh, I thought he was going straight on there, was Dorniden. Didn't quite hook up the apex to the second to last as the way that Baldi did, or anyone else in the pack. Manages to hook it up quite late. This battling, though, has cost them all a huge amount of time and allowed the top two to clear off.
Oh, Baldi's wide again.
So wide. And remember, he was wide earlier in the race. That's a massive slowdown. Look at that. He's still slowing, still slowing, still slowing. Dornaden's through. Maurice Lerner will be through.
I think he's still slowing down, isn't he?
This has not worked out for Baldi. He's down to 7th position. That was a massive slowdown. We saw him make one earlier in the race. Now he's got his compatriot David Nosh all over the back of him. Oh, no.
Oh, he's on the grass almost there. Oh, no!
That's a huge... Wow, look at the avoiding action. Who was that?
In the foreground, there was Dorneden going off, and then in the background, Brzezinski was completely sent flying. Both happening at exactly the same time. And somehow, out of all of this Keithley is up to P3.
Honzik's up to P4. Oh, look at this. Alexander Dorneden. They're going to be 3 wide into the stadium. My goodness me. Torsten Ulrich going to get back into the fight here as he's not too far off. That's Benz Benedict. And then Maurice Lerner directly ahead. It's so tight. I'm not quite sure what actually happened there. Crazy stuff. CUPRA Simracing now down in 12th place. Not what I would have expected from this lot.
CUPRA was the car that was flying off the road, and I think they were actually kind of lucky that they all survived and can still continue the race, but still completely has shaken up the order. Lerner also dropped back.
Wow, my goodness me. Bence Banky then still leading the race with Florian Haase, but this pack behind them is in a complete mess. Jack Keithley now a second and a bit clear of Jaroslav Honzik in P4, so he's managed to make something out of this. Noj not too far behind with Baldi, Lerner, Dorneden, Benedek and Ulrich rounding out the top 10. We look at CUPRA Simracing, the biggest affected of that realistically, made a huge contact with that wall on the run down to the hairpin. Managed to dodge all of the other cars through pure luck more than anything else. Look at this defense from Ulrich. Vermont going to try and attack and get himself up into the reverse grid pole for his first sprint race of the CUPRA Simracing Series. They're going to be side by side down into the hairpin. Vermont going to try and make this work, go around the outside. He's going to have the best run off of it, and I think that's going to be done for him, because that's going to be an excellent drive to the corner. Ulrich trying to muscle his way back into contention for that 10th position, but it's not quite going to work. Alexander Vermont showing he's no rookie in cars like this.
Background Samosi.
Yeah.
That's a good run from Ulrich.
He's going to get the cutback here. Wow, Vermont very, very slow on the exit, trying to just catch him up. Oh, yeah. That's no
Elbows
comment.
out.
No comment. Yeah. Ulrich just trying to get himself back in this, but he's now going to be under attack from CUPRA Simracing into the arena section. That's not quite going to work around the outside. As much as there's banking there, it just doesn't really assist the outside line at that corner. The inside just has too much banking. It just works.
Well, I just reviewed the incident there, so it was actually Brzezinski who was kind of squeezing Baldi a little bit, and then Baldi went back on the track and tapped the back of Brzezinski, which sent him flying. And Dorneden and Lerner, I'm not sure if they actually made contact with each other, or if they just saw the other cars flying over the grass and went wide in avoidance. Kind of looked more like contact between Dorneden and Lerner, which is why they both went wide in a separate incident in front of everyone else.
Oh, I feel bad for whoever's doing the instant reports this one. Good luck. We look back at that battle for the lead. Ben Spanky with Florian Haase still behind him. Haase's not really... I think it's less of a not able to try anything, more of a I don't really want to. CUPRA Brzezinski trying to get onto reverse grid pole and salvage something from the evening. Oh, look at that. Was that Vermont? Sorry, it was Ulrich being absolutely baffled off the road by Stulich.
That was the other way around.
Oh, was it?
That was Stulich getting pushed off by Ulrich there.
Oh, I see. Not the friendliest of moves there from Torsten Ulrich. Not so great, not so hot. but still in 12th position. It's not a bad one to potentially end the first race. I don't think we can move a couple. That's the reverse grid pole, which is where this fight is going to really heat up. You've got Vermont, who's done plenty of racing in touring cars in the recent past, along with Brzezinski, Ulrich, Stulich, Samosi also involved in this, Ponto also involved in this battle. The 6 of them will be going for that reverse grid pole, but Kuba Brzezinski's looking the strongest, of course, was further up the grid earlier in the race. And so definitely wants that reverse grid. As say, to salvage anything from this evening, that is what he needs to do. Again, watching out for that exit curb on the exit of T1, because otherwise that'll get slow down. Here we go, Kuba Brzezinski down the inside. Vermont doesn't really fight that hard. It's going to try and go around the outside, though. Didn't go defensive, curiously enough. He's now going to have that slipstream all the way through the parabolica on the run down to the hairpin. You see Kuba Brzezinski already moving over straight away just to try and take some of that slipstream. But look at this, catching in that slipstream. Jaroslav Honzik going to have to defend from David Noj. Don't think he's going to be able to do anything. He's going to try and hold it around the outside and get that good run that we've seen so many people do. I think that might actually work in the background as well. There was side by side between, I think, Donovan and Lerner. Look at Kuba Brzezinski for that 10th position. There's Honzik again. Holding on to 4th. So he did make that stick around the outside. David Noj trying to do everything. It was Baldi and Lerner, by the way, that was in the background, not Donovan and Lerner. Apologies. Off the hairpin. Holding positions, though, everyone. Ulrich and all that got past Vermont as well, was what we went back to go and see. Not long to go in this race, and already elbows coming out for those positions. What's this second race going to be like if things proceed the way they presently are? David Noj, victor already this season, already put his name up on that list, was originally the championship leader. After that pole position back in the Nürburgring, now all over the back of Jaroslav Honzik, trying to get 4th. He's going to go down the inside here. That should work quite nicely. Jaroslav Honzik's going to try and make it work around the outside. It's not quite going to. David Noj now onto the parabolica, going to try and break that slipstream potentially, or is he going to hold it left, hold it right? Don't know. Now he's holding it to the left, holding it the shortest run around the parabolica. Honzik's coming. Here he goes down the inside. I think Honzik might actually have this, unless Noj is going to hold it around the outside. Super good on the brakes, maybe a little bit too far. On the race, a little bit of contact background. I think Dornagin just tagged the back of Moritz. Was it? Sorry,
Baldi.
Jaroslav
side by
Honzik.
side.
I think Jaroslav Honzik's just going to hold on to 4th. He's going to have to go around the outside. No, David Noj is up to 4th. Wow, good move for David Noj. Had to make that one work for a few corners there, Rob.
Yes, indeed he had. It's not done yet, but it's certainly helping him that Lerner is putting some pressure on Honzik now. Here we can see the gaps at the front of the field. Punky looking quite good now. Easily also all alone in the 3rd position.
Yeah, he's got a good few second bubble. It's 3 to the car in front, 2 to the car behind. Jack Keithley just sitting in 3rd position, sitting pretty for his 2nd podium in a row. Of course, moved his way up the order last time out with the podium. In his first race in the championship again, there is drop scores in this, so that is definitely important to keep noted in this run through T1 again. I'm pretty sure that was quite wide for Jaroslav Honzik. Lerner all over the back. Oh, that's super late in the race. Too late, maybe? Squirming and scribbling all under brakes. Managed to make that one stick somehow, and they're both going to have the slipstream from David Noj ahead, but I think that's one up to Moritz Lerner. It certainly is at the moment, at least.
That move only worked because Honzik saw it and moved out of the way. You can see how much time he lost there.
I kind of don't think Lerner wanted to make that move. It just kind of happened. But here we go, side by side, trying to look down the inside. Further back was Gergo Baldi as well. A bit of contact. Donovan trying to get involved. We look at Lerner, who's left the corner ahead of Gergo Baldi and holds ahead of Gergo Baldi. the stadium. Oh!
A bit of lag for Lerner there. This time it was really lag for him, so because the other cars kept on going normally. So I would assume the other drivers can see that as well, so that makes it extremely difficult for them.
Yeah, racing against a driver with connection issues is particularly difficult. It comes with, with hope that maybe you'll get by in one of those weird laggy moments, or more than likely a bit of fear that one of those laggy moments is going to cost you something in the race. So at the moment, Gergo Baldi probably sweating his hands off, and I'm wondering curiously what's going to happen with Lerner. He'll be desperate to get by if that's the case, though. Balint Benedict doing a very good job in 9th position, just hanging on to the back of this train. Doing very much the same as what Bo Dixon did back in Spa, what Jaroslav Honzik's done with the top lot. Just sort of like sitting there, just watching, just keeping up. Not really getting too involved at the moment, but a decent debut for the Hungarian. Ben Spanky clear enough, but only by 0.4 of a second as we head into the final 5 minutes. Of course, a victor early this season. Florian Haase has not added his name to that list yet. A driver had to wait a long time for his first win in RaceRoom competition, didn't he, Rob? We were both there to see it happen back in earlier this year, actually, at Friedrichshafen for the Bodensee event. Took it in the ADAC Masters final. We look back.
He's won plenty of races since. Unlike Alexander Roman, who still hasn't won a single race, down to P12, looking more and more unlikely that he will get the reverse grid pole position.
Yeah, see, Vermont, the fact that Vermont hasn't won actually does shock me a lot, because with the pace that he's shown in various competitions recently, it baffles me, because he's been so quick. It's just never really come together at the right time. Now that reverse grid pole is basically sorted, as CUPRA Brzezinski is absolutely cleared off into the distance from Torsten Ulrich. It's now more a battle for pride and points. For 11th position, Ulrich, Vermont, Stulic, Samosi and Pointeau. That 5 right there. Just going through your camera. Excellent shot there. 3.5 to go. So not many laps. It'll be 2 realistically. Ooh. Bit of contact on the front of Bo Dixon, so the new signing of team there doesn't make you immune to damage.
Oh, he's running in last. Juhas also dropped back, and Maya Caro will start off the Server 1 career for Maya Caro then in P20. As we can see, Stulic now trying a move on Roman. Resistance. 2
fairly aggressive drivers there, without any contact or any real fighting. So good stuff. Slaven Stilic up into 12th position, just allowing Torsten Ulrich to clear off. Gergo Baldi under attack from Jaroslav Honzik for the 6th position. Alexander Dornaden not able to really get involved in this fight as they run into the hairpin one more time. Looking down the inside goes Jaroslav Honzik. He's a little bit deep onto the brakes, and that seems to have worked for him. Go for the cutback is Gergo Baldi, and it's not quite going to work as they went a little bit 3 wide there, just as a slight overlap. That was a nice move from Honzik. Ran it in maybe a little bit too hot, but it seemed to work for him.
Seemed to work for him indeed. Let's see. There's a cutback move from Baldi once again. He's certainly going for it. Oh, looks good.
He's made that one work a few times all the way around the outside, and that'll be Gergo Baldi back up into 6th position. As I think on the exit of the corner, he'll just pull clear. There we go. Honzik drops back in line. Baldi's done that a few times this race, gone for that cutback in the stadium section, and it works almost every time he tries it. Unfortunately, only in 6th position, courtesy of the slowdown on the exit of T1. I will say, as much as I think it's a little too late, $1 short and all that lot. Jack Keithley is closing back up to the top 2 though. It's just too late in the day, I think.
2 more laps.
2 more. I thought it was going to be 1. It was very tight to be 1.
Yeah, that's why I jumped to the leaders to confirm it, but it is going to be 2 more laps. And Florian Haase is pretty close.
Desperate that victory. You say that he's taken plenty of victories since that first one. Really not very long ago, and that is absolutely true. Once the floodgates have opened, it's very hard to close them. And for Florian Haase, the gates are well and truly open, and Ben Spanky could be about to be maybe flooded a little bit here at the top end of the field. trying to go around the outside of the hairpin. Is this a proper attempt for Florian Haase? Is that actually going to work? Going to go for the cutback? Oh, that could be a good run off the corner for Florian Haase. Going to move over all the way over to the road. Benchback, need to give it a bit more room than that. Oh, that was super, super tight. Runs through that super fast turn 7. A little bit more contact on the exit. A little bit more contact on the exit. Thank you very much. Maybe Florian Haase going to try and go around the outside. A little bit of a cutback. Nothing quite working there. Benchback just able to hang on to the lead, but that maybe looked a little bit desperate.
That was some hard defending. Not sure if Hasse expected that necessarily. Notch and Lerner fighting equally hard for P4 and Baldi and Honzig for P6. We have to stay, of course, with the leaders here as they are about to enter the final lap of the first race here at the Hockenheimring.
Yeah, remember after this we have the same. We have a 25-minute race, but with a top 10 reverse grid. So at the moment, CUPRA Brzezinski is going to be reversing his way back onto pole position. But who is going to be starting 10th? Is it going to be Banky? Is it going to be Haase? Is something going to happen? And could it beat Keithley? Final lap of the first race here. As once we finish this, we're in the halfway point. We've done it. We've reached halfway. Look at how wide they are. That's so much risk, considering the slowdown penalty you could potentially get for doing so. But that's worked for Banky. He ran it all the way out wide. We look further back in the pack. David Noj, Moritz Lerner. Lerner drops back in line, I think, into the hairpin. We're definitely going to see an overtake between someone for sure on this final lap. Someone's got a desperate lunge in them. I can feel it. There we are. Back to the lead. Oh, look how far back Florian Haase is. He's just not close enough. I'd say, I mean, Keithley's near enough closer to Haase than Haase is to Banky. Into the hairpin for the final time in the first race. A little bit wide for Banky, but he's managed to pull it back up and make it work further back in the pack for P4. David Noj and Moritz Lerner. Moritz Lerner going for the cut back. I don't think that's quite enough though, Rob.
Not quite enough yet. Could be a move in the Mercedes corner. Yeah, just going to check with Banky and Hasse first, though. Not looking like Hasse has an opportunity here. Let's see with Lerner. He looked on the inside. Didn't quite go for it, though.
Well, I think everyone might have cooled down towards the end of this race. We look further back in the pack. I mean, oh, that's super, super late there for Ramon. I think was it for no, it was Simosi.
Oh, and Ponto's off.
Ponto's round. Off he goes, just clipped on that rear left quarter panel and just spun him straight off. Up towards the front though, Bence Banky, winner of the first race of the season. And as we head to the exit of the first half, Bence Banky is going to come back on top. And race winner at Hockenheim, he is. Bence Banky takes the first one of the evening from Haase and Keithley. That was a good drive for Keithley to get back into contention towards the end of that. After an incident-filled race, David Noj comes in 4th, Moritz Lerner 5th, Bowley, Honzig, Dorneden, Benedek and CUPRA Brzezinski will be reversed for your second 25-minute race. But Rob, how would you call that drive for Bence Banky? Dealing with pressure with absolute ease.
Well, not sure if that was absolute ease. This one time that he almost came across Florian Hasse there, left him just about enough room to stay on the track. Certainly had to work for it this time. But it is another win for Bence Banky. And of course, Bence Banky was in 2nd place in the championship standings. And he's catching up a lot to Alexander Dorneden, who only finished in P8 after this big incident in the hairpin there, where Brzezinski went over the grass and Dorneden and Lerner made contact. Here we've got confirmation of the race results. Banky winner and fastest lap.
What you have to remember though is the points are exactly the same in the second race. We don't halve them, we don't do anything. It's still 100 points for victory. And this time Dorneden is going to be starting 8 positions ahead of Banky. So this could actually work in the favour of Dorneden should things go poorly for Banky. Of course, that's not what we hope. But from that top lot with the likes of CUPRA Brzezinski, Alexander Dorneden, Balin Benedek's involved in that top end of the field. We'll have to see if he can do very much about that. Maybe get himself into the mix. Who could win this race, Rob?
Oh, Brzezinski had good pace. And he's on pole position. Also, this side of the track, you should always be able to get a little bit of a better start. We saw it with Hasse. So, I would say pretty good chances for CUPRA to take his first win of the season.
Well, my guess would either be between CUPRA or Dorneden. They're starting in perfect position. You can see them there. The blue, grey and black car starting from the reverse grid pole is CUPRA Brzezinski. The white car directly behind him is Alexander Dorneden on the left-hand side. It's Balint Benedek And they're going to be starting the second race now, 25 minutes ahead of us, and off we go once again. That's a great launch from Dornaden. We keep an eye on him. Is he going to try and go around the outside for P2 at turn 1? I think he might, and he's going to have this one done. CUPRA Brzezinski leads Alexander Dornaden, which is exactly what CUPRA Brzezinski did not want. Further back in the pack, Torsten Ulrich's got ahead of Bent Banky for P10, so that's Banky down another position from the championship lead. Oh, we ride backwards from CUPRA Brzezinski. You can see Dornaden a bit of side-by-side for P4 as Bowdy and Lerner, I think that is going side-by-side further back in the pack. And they're all going to stream their way down towards turn 1. Look at that. Get back in line. Get back into the slipstream. Thank you very much. Let's not fight too hard until we get to the hairpin. And here we go then for the first time in the second race. Who's going to be going side by side? That's someone further down in the pack. That's Maurice Lerner moving up a position or 2. Jack Heathley as well moving up a position or 2. They're going to lose it on the exit though. We look further back and that's going to be, I think, David Notch.
That's David Notch, yeah.
Going side by side with going past Keithley. Oh, they're going to be. Oh, there could be contact here. David Notch, Keithley on the inside. A little bit of a bounce on the exit. Florian Haase as well getting involved. Oh, Jack Keithley. That was an aggressive move on the start, wasn't it?
Certainly very aggressive indeed. Now, Notch could lose 2 positions here.
Indeed, Florian Haase trying to make that one stick. Maybe desperate for a race win. An odd one from 9th to 1st potentially. Proving how raceable he is. Very cool head on Florian Haase. Noj trying to make something stick on him, but he's got to defend sort of from his compatriot Gergo Bowdy at the end of the first lap though. CUPRA Brzezinski, it's a better position than when he started the first race. Finished the first race, currently P1 for CUPRA Brzezinski. Alexander Dornaden second, Benedikt Honzik and Lerner round out the top 5. Looking further back, what has happened to Bent Banky? Why is he in 17th position? We look further back in the pack. Maurice Lerner going side by side with Honzik. A bit of contact there at turn 2. Honzik just getting back up into 4th, but Lerner's looking racy. I think he was just a little bit too late on the brakes there for the German. He's now going to be under attack from Jack Keithley, their teammates. Going to do a little bit of bump drafting like Honzik did to Dornaden in the previous race. Now Keithley going to go down the inside of the hairpin. Is that one going to work? I don't think so. I think Lerner's going to be able to hold this one around the outside, surely. Oh, there's contact between the two. That was close. This is a battle pack, isn't it? Currently in the fight for 13th place. That's Dobbs, Pinches, Ponto, Banky directly behind. Crazy battles going on. Oh, into the corner, deep was Samozi. Banky gets done. Up 1 position, or 2 positions from where we originally rejoined him. So we're now up into 15th, trying to recover any point he can. Of course, there is a drop score in this championship, so those Banky fans, don't be too worried.
Yeah, but it's the complete reverse of the first race. Now Dornaden in the prime position once again. Banky is the one who's losing points. And don't forget about Keithley and Lerner. Still in a good position.
Yeah, plenty of stories still to tell over the next 21 minutes. And be sure they will be told. This order that they're currently running in will not be the order they finish in. That is for absolute certainty. Brzezinski on the back of Dornaden just closing up. You can see him in the foreground there, just poking his nose out a little bit just to see what he can do. Benedikt trying to defend from Honzik, who's trying to be staying ahead realistically of Maurice Lerner. Benedikt very much out of position to where we might have expected him, but he's done very well. Finished in 9th in the first race, has reversed his way up in the second. Now currently holding the 3rd position through the Parabolica. They go completely side by side with Jaroslav Honzik trying to get onto the podium. I think Honzik might actually have the upper hand here with all the experience that he's using. They're going to be heavy onto the brakes into the hairpin. Maybe a little bit of contact from Lerner in the back. And that's actually worked out perfectly for Benedikt. But look at that for Honzik, straight over back to the inside, using the excellent run off the corner. They're going to be side by side into turn 7. A little bit of a rub. We ride on board with Maurice Lerner as we see into the stadium section. And that is Jaroslav Honzik. Surely he's going to hold it around the outside here. They're going to be understeering off wide. Maurice Lerner's going to try and get involved in this. Oh my goodness me, Benedek trying to put himself back onto the scene. Maurice Lerner with the excellent drive off the corner. Could he be taking both of them into the stadium section? I don't think so, surely not. Yaroslav Honzik up into third position. Maurice Lerner, they're going to be side by side here, surely. Yes, they are. A little bit of contact, I think it was rub as Benedek runs out wide. Oh, a bit more contact there as Jack Keithley's trying to get involved.
Oh, Keithley has hit the back of Lerner there.
Indeed, yeah, Lerner got up the road. That's not so great between the teammates. Look at this pack, they're super close. But I think I can't keep up with what's happening here. Benedek's gone from third to seventh. Honzik's in third, Lerner fourth. Jack Keithley, after that contact with his teammate, just managed to re-establish himself in their positions in fourth and fifth. Florian Haase into sixth, and Balint Benedek in seventh. Bence Banky's also had another issue, by the way. He's down in 20th now.
Oh.
Something is going on for Bence Banky, and whatever it is that's going on is not working for him. We look back to the lead, Alexander Dorneden. Could he be taking it from Brzezinski this lap? Look at the gap they've got over Honzik. So same as last race, the top two absolutely clearing off into the distance, whilst everyone else battles over the scraps. Dorneden going to go around the outside. That one looks like a decent move. Puts the power down nicely. He's going to have the inside once they get to the stadium. They're going to go side by side through turn 7. Is there going to be contact? We're looking for this excellent aerial camera. Runs out.
There's contact.
There is contact indeed. Brzezinski just moved over a little bit there. Trying to go for the cutback. That one's not going to work. And Dorneden now up into the lead. Solid move under braking after contact after turn 7. That super fast one. As they I think their lines just merged in the same place. Nothing intentional about it. But Dorneden now leads.
It's indeed, and with Banky so far down the order, it could be a big step towards the championship for the German.
Yeah, unless the likes of Lerner, Keithley, one of that likes gets involved. Of course, they've already used their drop score by not appearing at the first round. We look at Stulic, who's currently side by side with Baldi. Gergo's not had the best start to this race either, but he is up into 10th now. The thing is with Gergo at the moment, with the rest of them pulling away, he can realistically get 9th. Maybe a little bit further if something starts happening, but you can see that gap starting appearing between the likes of Ulrich and Noj. Just a good second appearing between a couple of them. Couple of seconds, actually, in fact. And that might be insurmountable. Brzezinski, could he try anything on the German? Dorneden looking for his second win of the season. Brzezinski looking for his first. Oh, he's late on the brakes as Dorneden, but that's actually going to work in his favour because he's going to get a much better drive off this corner, surely. Yes, he is. There he goes. That line might actually work because it's kind of a hard one to attack against because you know that outside line's going to work nicely. Provided you can put the power down right.
Onnin staying ahead for now. Those battles also a little bit further back. Dobsa up to P12 ahead of his teammate Ponto. And that's Adam Pinches on the inside. 3 wide. Oh, and Ponto almost around again. Yeah,
Pinches. I think that was it. Pinches who dived down the inside there.
Yeah.
A little bit aggressive there. Ponto just sort of in the middle, not really anywhere to go, to be honest, and just really got caught up in that. A bit unfortunate. Oh, Dobbs is running up wide though. Dobbs is running up very wide of the hairpin. Surely there's going to be no move here. They run through the chicane. And Adam Pinches trying to move his way back. Of course, a driver who's been at the top end, the top echelon of RaceRoom Racing Experiences competition and WTCR and WTCC back in the day, as far as I can recall. So knows how to race in these cars, in this game, in this against these drivers. Dorneden also on that list. CUPRA Brzezinski trying to still make something work.
Pinches, of course, won the hot lap competition that we held at the Sim Racing Expo in a race from Cafe with the CUPRA, so he's certainly very quick in these cars, but this field here is something else, you know. Dorneden once again running wide, and then in the background side by side, that's Keithley and Haase. Oh, Keithley was trying to cut over there to block the run from Hasse. Wow.
It worked.
Almost gets spun as a result, though.
Way, yeah, it did kind of work, though. 5th position for Keithley, so just trying to defend that one from Florian Hasse, actually. Hasse looking very, very racy. In the background, we see Noj and Benedek switching positions. And Benedek just dropping down the order after a really good start to the race. He dropped 4 positions in 1 lap, but seems to have recovered since. Now only a position there. Pinches, and I'm assuming he's still going side by side with Dobser. In the background, where they're both wide going into the arena section. And that's not going to work, surely. Pinches now down the inside. There's going to be contact. They're too wide all the way through. I think Dobser's about to be freight trained by this lot. As that is Pointeau just getting by Dobser. But now he's going to be under attack from Dobser. And he's going to run him out wide. That was fairly aggressive and, to be fair, perfectly fine from Dobser. Just runs him out wide on the exit, and Pointeau just not able to hang in there. Oh, look how wide Pointeau was there, though. That's too wide. That's surely a slowdown. Somehow, maybe not. I think it was a little bit of a slowdown.
It always is when you get the first slowdown. It's not as significant as the other ones later on. Saw that with Baldi in the first race. Brzezinski still putting the pressure on Dorniden. Oh, Dorniden with a mistake. In the background as well, the move from Lerner.
See, I think this is actually well, I say working for Dorniden. It's just giving him that really, really good drive off of the hairpin. I'm not saying it's intentional, but it's whatever it is, it's working. It will be getting under Brzezinski's skin because he'll be sat there thinking, but he constantly keeps making a mistake. Here we have the battle for the podium. Moritz Lerner's going to go around the outside. Is that one going to work? Surely not, because he's going to have to, Jaroslav Honzik's going to have the outside run all the way through here, which is we've seen throughout the evening. It's been far better, and that's absolutely the case here. And Lerner trying to mount that challenge, just maybe trying in the wrong spot at the moment. Into the hairpin in the arena section. Jaroslav Honzik in 3rd at the moment, but look at the pack behind him. Lerner and Keithley, the 2 Williams drivers, they'll be teaming up just to try and get by, as Honzik had previously with Alexander Dorniden. Halfway through the race, and this battle for the podium is not done, nor is the battle for the victory. But what has happened to this man? He is right on the back of the pack. Ben Spanky, I'm sure there'll be some investigations in that camp as to how this has gone wrong for Ben Spanky. But something's just not added up in this race. Potential contact, maybe a mistake on the hand of Ben Spanky, although I'd say that's quite unlikely based on how he's driven previously. But you never know. Everyone's open to mistakes. We're all human. But 20th at the moment is not the position he would have wanted.
He's at the back of this massive train now. Dorniden and Brzezinski, they managed to keep the gap to Honzik. This time Brzezinski's not attacking. Oh, Dorniden.
Same line.
Yeah, always the same line, isn't it?
Every lap he's running wide. I think
and Honzik has run too wide here.
He's going to have the inside in the stadium though, but he's just going to lift out of it actually. He doesn't fancy any part of that. Moritz Lerner into 3rd position. Now Jack Keithley's going to try and get involved and maybe go around the outside of Honzik. Is that going to work? Potentially. We see them go side by side. Is Honzik going to lift out of this? Oh, I think he had to. Keithley came across there. He's going to go for the undercut as we head towards the arena. Oh, there's a bit of contact. Jack Keithley getting very muscly there. Very muscly indeed. The 2 go side by side. Yep, Honzik says, you can muscle me about, I can muscle you about, good sir. And they return to their 4th and 5th position. Honzik not pulling any punches there with Keithley, was he, Rob?
No. I think... I don't know why Keithley is always coming across on the exit. Of course it helps him gain a position, but it also, makes him so many enemies on the track. That's why he gets an aggressive reaction from Honzik, and now they're both a second behind Lerner. Oh, Keithley late on the brakes here.
I remember when we landed in Germany having a conversation with Jack Keithley, and he said he always wanted to play the villain. More speaking in a sense of wrestling terms. We were having a conversation about that event. This was in Nürburgring last year, and now he said he was more than happy to play the villain. He likes being the antagonist. He likes being that villainistic character. And he shows that on circuit on occasion, particularly with that fight between himself and Tim Heinemann, although, who's the protagonist in that situation? I'll leave you to decide once again. Is he going to run wide? He's not hitting that apex. I wonder if there was like a possession count for, Keithley out wide though. That's not going to work. Honzik straight back through. But yeah, if there was get the possession count in football. I wonder if you could do one, the same percentage for Alexander Dornadon and that apex. I'm pretty sure it's in a low percentage at the moment. We see Keithley going side by side with Haase. They're both going to run off the circuit. See Haase. My goodness, but he knew that he wasn't stopping for that corner.
Yeah, I think he went on the throttle, not to hit Honzik there.
Yeah, I think he did as well. I think he cleared that. As soon as he knew that he wasn't stopping for that apex, I think he let go of the brake to make sure that he didn't hit. That was actually, to be fair, that is smart heads-up driving from Florian Haase.
Once again with Keithley there, they're pushing each other. Keithley not leaving a lot of room in the right-hander, and then Haase running him out all the way till the edge of the track.
That's the thing, though, is that's the risk you take when you start racing people aggressively, is they will start racing you back. Stulic straight down the inside. Wow, that was right at the last minute on Torsten Ulrich. I don't think he
just
was
swapped to
near
them.
that apex.
Just swapped to them because Ulrich went past Stulic before, and we saw Stulic flashing his lights. Passing the Sachskurve, that's also most of the time with a little bit of contact. These two fighting for the final place in the top 10. Going very hard here.
Torsten Ulrich going to be down the inside again into turn 2.
Oh!
I could call that one, but he was definitely, that was always going to happen. Come straight back on the road. That's cost Torsten Ulrich, and Adam Pinches has now moved up into the top 10. I don't know how I would call that one, Rob. I don't know if it's kind of hard to tell from that angle of if Stulic moved over, if Torsten Ulrich moved over. Very hard to tell. P7, Florian Haase just ahead of Benedek after that mistake into the corner they're just coming up to. It's really dropped him off the back of David Nodge though, and potentially cost Florian Haase a few positions this race. Benedek's doing a very solid job here, let's be honest.
Yeah, he lost out a little bit earlier on, but he's still staying within the top 10, ahead of Baldi, who's not a slow driver at all. Maybe a little bit unlucky not to get past Hasse when he went off earlier on. But then Spunky back up to P16 at least, and now at the back of Stulic, who's got damage, so that should be a formality. Stulic is not fighting it. He knows his car is damaged.
Bear in mind, everyone watching at home, points go from the top of the field to the bottom of the field. So every position for Banky at the moment in the Championship Challenge matters. Whatever he can gain. More, I mean, this could be all just, could be for second and third position in the championship. Of course, remember there is a prize for the champion. There's €3,000 for the person who wins the championship, 2,000 for second, and 1,000 for third. So every point in that fight matters. And it's going to be very tricky. You never know what's going to happen come Macau. That's a track where literally anything can happen. And with Monza next time out, who knows? Back to the lead. We'll check out what's going here. Dornadon and Brzezinski still very, very close. Dornadon taking his wide line. Yep, absolutely. Again, that percentage count just dropping further and further for the apex hit at the hairpin.
Well, he tries around the outside against Benedek, and I think he's going to get the position.
Got a bit of slipstream as well from Florian Haase. And that should be P8 for the Hungarian. On the Hungarian. Into the stadium. And Benedek going to try and do something around the outside, but against a driver like Gergo Baldi, I don't think it's going to quite work. And there we go. He's up into 8th. Absolutely clear. And Benedek now drops into 9th position, which I still think is a very respectable evening's work. 9th and 9th.
Yeah, he's going to gain a lot of positions here in the championship as well. See what Dornin will do against Brzezinski. Brzezinski really isn't a championship contender so far. Didn't get the best result in Spa in the end. But he has a solid performance here, and of course he's part of the Williams esports team, and they've got Keithley and Lerner, and especially Lerner this season. It's one to watch.
Yeah, currently finished in 5th. Back in Spa, finished in 10th in the first race this evening. Currently running in 2nd is Kuba Brzezinski against Dornadon, who came into this round with a 66-point lead, of course, which he would have lost a fair amount in that first race to Bence Banki. But with Banki running in 15th, he's going to gain a lot of that back. Well, he's going to fire himself even further ahead, to be honest, but nonetheless. 5 to go, 5 minutes. More of this race. Brzezinski, he's going to look, but again, like the thing is, he's got to do that block pass that Honzik did. He's going to give it a go, though. Oh, it's they're going to be side by side leaving. Brzezinski's very, very aggressive, but Dornadon's got that excellent drive around the outside. They're going to go through turn 7, unless Brzezinski can get an excellent cutback at the 8th corner in that stadium section. I'm not really seeing this working. They're going to be side by side to the hairpin, though. Here we go for the lead of the race. He's going to try for the cutback, but Dornadon is wise to it. Slams on the brakes, slams on the anchors, pulls it to a halt, and keeps the position. Keithley and Noj doing a similar battle, a similar duet into the stadium. Currently holding 5th is Jack Keithley ahead of David Noj for 6th.
Oh, that could be the lunge here.
Oh, that's a
Brzezinski.
good lunge.
Oh, Dornadon saw it as well. Left a bit of room, but then turned in. Bit of contact on the exit. Dornadon back through.
Side by side through the chicane as we come up towards the second and last corner. There's a bit more contact, a little bit more. I think that's Kuba Brzezinski. He's going to be up into the lead once again with only 3 and a bit minutes to go. Kuba Brzezinski back in the lead with an excellent move at the hairpin. Through that third sector, they were side by side. Dornadon's not going to be happy with that. He's going to want to respond straight away as we head through that first turn. Both running it very far out wide in risk of that slowdown.
That was a great first corner from Brzezinski, though. Pulled a little gap. Also hit the next corner perfectly. It will be hard for Dornadon to make an attempt here.
The next 2 laps need to be absolute, potentially 3, need to be absolute perfection for Kuba Brzezinski. But here comes Dornadon in that slipstream. Remember, he's run wide from the apex multiple times in the previous few laps whilst he's been leading. Here he is super late on the brakes. That one's not going to work. He's going to go for the cutback and try and get the inside, but that's not going to work. Remember how late on the brakes he was at Spa? Almost every time into Les Combes, he was outbraking absolutely everyone. He overtook both Lerner and Keithley in one move. Speaking of Keithley, here we go back for 4th position with Jaroslav Honzik. The battle, they're going to be side by side into the stadium section, and Jaroslav Honzik's just going to hang on to 4th as Keithley's going to try and go for the cutback as we leave the second, we're about to leave the second sector. Keithley now going for the cutback again on Jaroslav Honzik, heading towards that super fast right-hander of turn 11. There's going to be more contact between the two. Keithley's just on the inside. Jaroslav Honzik going to try and hang around the outside. There's contact. David Noj going to try and get involved in this. There's more contacts around to the hairpin. This is going to end in absolute tears for everyone as they're 3 wide at the hairpin. Jaroslav Honzik now furthest on the inside, going through the chicane. This is very muscly racing. Jack Keithley up into 4th. There's Jaroslav Honzik just giving a little bit of a bump on the rear end, trying to get back through, and he is going to get back through. My goodness me, this is getting very arduous between this lot.
Olaf lost there between Honzik and Keithley. The better end for Honzik, and I think Notch will be thinking, what are they doing? I was already past both of them. Then Honzik launched back up the inside. Of course, we still keep an eye on the timing at the leaders. We will jump to them as soon as Dornadon is attempting a move, which could be around the first corner, the hairpin now on this lap here.
I believe we're on the second to last lap. I think we will get one more after this. It's going to be super tight with the clock once we get to it. They're going to be side by side at the hairpin. Dornadon taking that nice and favourable outside line that seems to have worked quite a few times this afternoon. He's going to be in the lead coming down into the hairpin. Oh, he's going to cut across. I think that's the move done for Dornadon.
That was brilliant.
That's a beautiful move there for Alexander Dornadon. Kuba Brzezinski really couldn't do anything about that one there. Fantastic racing. Back to this battle though. Honzik and Keithley side by side, same as they were the previous lap, through turn 7 up towards turn 8 into that stadium. David Noj just looking in the background, sort of not really knowing where to go. They're going to be 3 wide once again, surely. Oh, that's Jack Keithley going to hang on to Jaroslav Honzik. They're going to be 3 wide once again. And that's David Noj, who's going to be the furthest on the inside. No, it's not going to work. Jack Keithley holds on to 4th. Jaroslav Honzik is going to drop a position to David Noj. No, he is not. My goodness me. They are racing so hard for this 4th position, and it is going to end badly.
Let's see if we get another lap. We're not quite sure yet in this race, because the leaders have been battling a bit more, so we have to keep a close eye on the clock here.
Yeah,
Dornin is about to cross the finish line.
One more lap as the timer is about to tick to 0. The checkered flag will be coming out next time by one more lap. Can CUPRA Brzezinski try anything on Alexander Dorniden? Dorniden had that excellent move around the outside of the hairpin on the previous lap. Moritz Lerner is closing in bit by bit, trying to move himself into championship contention after missing the first round with the drop scores. He could be near enough there, but Brzezinski is looking for race victory, number 1 of the season. Alexander Dorniden looking for number 2. We head to the hairpin for that final time. And can CUPRA Brzezinski do anything? The slipstream working to his effect. We've seen Dorniden run wide on the apex. Is it going to be a block pass? He's going to be diving down the inside, and they're going to be side by side. He's going to try that block pass, and Dorniden's he's run wide as well. So CUPRA Brzezinski has got back up into the lead there, into the hairpin. Dorniden's not going to like that one bit though, as we're going to head into the stadium section for the final time. And Dorniden, he's surely going to try a lunge somewhere. Remember that he had it in the hairpin. Did CUPRA Brzezinski try it and go down the inside? And that's how he took the lead a few laps ago. Currently holding the lead. Is Dorniden going to learn from that and try the same thing? The corners are running out for Alexander Dorniden as we head out of the second sector. 1 sector to go. Oh, he can't look there. Surely that's just going to cost him time if he's going to be hugging the inside there. And CUPRA Brzezinski currently leading the race with nothing between them. And I don't think Dorniden's got any real other options. There's maybe a little bit of contact between the two of them heading through the Sachs curve. But look at that. There is enough gap. There's almost daylight between them. Can Dorniden chuck anything down the inside? Surely not at the final corner. Absolutely not at the final corner. And CUPRA Brzezinski is going to leave it and become a race winner. The 4th different one of the season. And CUPRA Brzezinski is victorious here at Hockenheim. That was an excellent race, Rob, between him and Alexander Dorniden. Moritz Lerner just closed up to the back, same as Keithley did in the previous race. Keithley and Honzik, I'm sure there'll be discussions in that camp after this. My goodness me, it was aggressive. Bence Banky recovers 10th in the final corner. Wow, check that out.
Great recovery drive from Bence Banky. Maybe he was let through there at pinches or slow down for pinches. That's possible as well. Anyway, congratulations to CUPRA Brzezinski. Great battle with Alexander Dorniden. And a great victory for the Williams Esports driver from Poland. Dorniden maintains the championship lead with P2, and Moritz Lerner, a bit of lag in this race and needs to watch out for his connection. But certainly all the other drivers have to watch out for him in the championship fight, because he's gained a lot of points this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure there's been a fair few winners and losers up and down the order through some of the racing that we've seen today. It's not been the same as the previous couple of rounds and the same of quality up and down the order, but at the top end of the field and between the top 2 at least, battle for the lead has been perfect in both races, and came down to the final lap in that one. And that move for Brzezinski, it was aggressive, but it was good. It was a nice one into the hairpin. He knew that Dorniden was going to run wide and was going to go around the outside, and he made it work. There is your race results, your finishes. And yes, a very, very solid race there for CUPRA Brzezinski, Rob.
Yeah, that certainly makes us look forward even more to the next race at Monza. I mean, a lot of slipstreaming here. Be even more at Monza, of course. And we've got the 1 hour race format back.
Yes, only 2 more rounds of the season. We've passed the halfway point. We'll get some highlights and championship standings to you shortly. Don't you worry. But after another excellent round here at Hockenheim, we'll see you in a couple of weeks at Monza, and then after that we'll be heading to the twisty, tight streets of Macau. Lewis McGlade has been alongside Robert Wiesenmüller for today's action, and we have very much enjoyed it. Thank you very much all for watching, and we'll see you on the 2nd of November at the Monza International Circuit, and it is going to be a fantastic endurance race there. Again, 60 minutes ahead of them, and we saw how well that worked at Spa. Thank you very, very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
What is it that drives us forward each and every day? Going faster, further, lap after lap. CUPRA already invented the race car of the future, the world's first 100% electric racing car. A car to set new standards in racing. Now the time has come to expand this vision together by inventing new paths and constantly challenging us to think ahead, by taking racing to new exciting places and rethinking the way we experience it. Like turning virtual into reality and constantly reinventing.
By making you part of the game.